Time now for the voice of the land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Always Positive Jay.
As the temps get colder, it just seems like the Cleveland sports scene gets hotter and hotter. All three sports teams are in the news, and there's one down in Columbus. No, I'm not talking about the Buckeyes. There's one down in Columbus that's actually in the playoffs and having success in the playoffs. We'll talk about all of that and more right here on the Voiceland, part of the Big Play Sports Network, partnered with LPV Productions. I'm Kevin Arnold. Across the table, it's Always Positive Jay. Peter Telep is here as well. We will be joined by Danny Cunningham, the associate editor at Cleveland Magazine. We're going to talk to him about kind of what he's been up to lately. Going to talk Cavs because there's no one I trust more to talk Cavs with that we have connection with than Danny. A guy that's covered the Minnesota Timberwolves and covered the Cavs and been ingrained in the NBA scene. And if anybody can kind of make sense of what is going on with this team, I know that they were winning the game tonight against the Magic. I don't know where the score is right now. I probably should have looked at that before the show started, but hey, sometimes you know what?
They were up by like 20.
Screw it. Just do it live.
Nice.
You know, just do it live. Just do it live. Of course, we are brought to you by Vedrick Technical. They'll get the right person in the right job the first time. We're going to start tonight. Well, first, I got to give a special shout out. I know this is kind of now stealing from Illegal Ham to the Face instead of taking their idea and changing it for prayers and well wishes. Prayers and well wishes out to all those on the UNLV campus. There was an active shooter situation earlier today. Those are, especially around holiday time, like you never want to see stuff like that. But I do have to give a special shout out to my sister, Amy. It is her birthday today.
Happy birthday, Amy.
Yep. So, my sister out in Seattle, hopefully you
guys are twins, right?
No,
I thought you were twins.
She is 4 years older than me. So
4 years wiser.
I don't know about that.
She's 4 years wiser.
She still calls me her little brother. I like to say I am her younger brother because I've been much taller than her for a long time. But
see, I'm the same way with my older brother. I'm like 4 inches taller than him, if not more.
Yeah, I'm probably like a foot or more taller.
Yeah, she's a little one.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, you met her at our wedding and stuff. So we're hoping that
we're up 17, by the way.
Thank you.
With 4 minutes to go in the second quarter.
All right, 57-40, Cavs are up. The other team that's playing right now in town, the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Jay, I got to start right here because we kind of indicated.
We have not talked Browns with each other at all, by the way, before we talk into the segment. We're just like, we'll talk Browns for a segment. We have no idea what.
Well, we've kind of learned from the past. We've learned from the past, Jay, when we talk.
Yeah, we just ruined the show, and we don't have anything to say.
We have nothing to go with the show. We feel like we're just repeating ourselves, even though no one else has heard us.
How you're feeling about the Browns, so I'm curious how you're feeling.
Well, I wanted to ask you because, of course, Joe Flacco started, and, you said when we were talking about, well, what are the options? You said I can't see Joe Flacco in a Browns uniform. Like this just,
it was weird.
How did it feel? Like, walk me through that. How did it feel when you finally saw Joe Flacco in a brown and orange?
When we
jersey?
Finally saw him in after the on third play of the game, when they finally got it on.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but Cleveland was freaking out because they just couldn't get the game on. I'm watching, who was it? The San Francisco
the 49ers game. Yeah.
I'm like, is this me? Is this because I'm streaming?
Yeah.
Like, another thing that's killing me because of streaming. No, it was everywhere.
Real quick, I think, and this is just.
Was it you?
This is just
Did
shooting.
you not flip the switch?
Yeah, I didn't flip the switch. All right. This is totally shooting from the hip here, as they say in the business. Basically, like I'm just whatever, like what I feel in my head happened. The way that the broadcast came in, the camera shot was kind of like pixelated a little bit. It, kind of like pixelated and then cleared up as it transitioned over. I feel like they may have been having like technical issues with the video camera. And so in that time slot for this area, football on Fox was designated. So they could only flip over until they had the proper, they felt comfortable broadcasting the game. They could only flip over to another game. So I know everybody was freaking out. Guys, we missed like 2 or 3 plays. Like, guess what? There's as long as you're within 100-mile radius, you can always turn on your stream and whatever. There's 3 stations that play the game. You can always listen real quick and until your TV comes on. I know it's kind of old school, but they'll describe to you what's going on. You'll get enough.
I have to use my imagination and picture it in my head. How crazy.
But besides the whole broadcast fiasco there at the beginning, yeah, it definitely was weird seeing Joe Flacco, who I just hated for years, sports hate, obviously. But yeah, that first drive looked pretty good. After that, I was like, yeah, I'm okay with Joe Flacco being in the Browns. Like, yeah, let's go. And he did. He looked like, honestly, the best quarterback we've had all year.
That's what I was actually talking to Kevin before you showed up, and I said that the weird thing is
ruining the show before we do the show.
Right, basically.
I'm not arguing with the AI system though.
But yeah, it was weird rooting for Joe Flacco. I mean, that was definitely something that I didn't think was something I'd ever do. But he looked really good, and he looked a lot better than Watson. I mean, Watson has had some good plays. He's had some really good plays, but how many times has he thrown the ball at people's feet? And watching Flacco play, I was like, this is he's been the best guy we've put on the field at the QB position.
Yeah, and how do you give the dude the excuse? You can't give a Rust excuse no more because this dude's 38 years old. Yeah, he's been around it for a long time, so he understands the system. But he's 38 years old and he was sitting on a couch.
He's rough.
And he came in,
is rough.
and that dude looked like he was throwing bullets. Like,
so why was he sitting on a couch then? What?
There's weird things.
Because there's been a lot of injuries in the league this year. It's been weird that way. Like how many injuries and how many big time players.
GMs have agendas. That's it. Why? They have their picks. They want to see these guys get in there and rather see if this. Why do you think you keep hearing about DTR one coming in? GMs have agendas, man.
Well, they want the future, right?
Yeah.
They're looking to the future. And the thing is, Joe Flacco's 38. He's not the future, but he obviously still has gas left in the tank.
Mm-hmm. And then you see him with the Jets, but it's obviously, come on, the dude was on the Jets. Aaron Rodgers lasted all 4 plays with the Jets. Like no one has been a good quarterback for the Jets for years, and their offensive line is horrible. So yeah, he's gonna suck there. But yeah, they're just gonna. When you're putting in a backup quarterback, what's your chances of winning a Super Bowl, anyways? Slim to none. Does it happen? The Eagles proved it can happen. The Eagles proved that.
And at this point, the Browns need to go with Flacco as the quarterback.
Oh, for sure. For sure. The team's backing him. You could see it. Everyone in the city's backing him. I highly doubt that they don't. I will be flabbergasted if they go to DTR.
I mean, it's going to be weird when he gets an ovation on Sunday.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is going to be weird.
And I'm going to be there. That's going to be weird.
Yeah, you'll have to give us that we can talk about before we actually talk about.
I need to start recording myself at these games. Like,
yes.
Yes,
you do.
I don't know why I don't.
I
try to be in the game though.
We're only on once a week. We need more content.
Yes, I know.
We need to get more content.
I got this. All of us got full-time jobs. It's so hard. I'm tired, man. Anyways, yeah, no excuses. Play.
He has to at this point. He has to play because he is your best option.
Mm-hmm.
You push a lot of the chips, if not all the chips, to the middle of the table this year. I know that Andrew Berry still talks about having an eye to the future, and that's why DTR came in. But you don't sign a guy.
Tomorrow's the future.
You don't sign a guy to $230 million fully guaranteed if you're not pushing the chips to the middle of the table. You don't go out and revamp your defensive line and bring in Jim Schwartz, change your defensive coordinator, change your special teams coordinator, bring in these guys, try to find, a way with all of these other pieces that unfortunately we've lost for the season or lost for several games. You don't do all of this pushing to the middle of the table to now go back to a rookie when you are in a playoff chase. I know it sucked to lose those 2 games in the West Coast. Browns having won a game in the Pacific time zone, I think, since 2012, 2013.
Long time.
It's been a long time. And I think everybody was on board for them to stay out there in LA. Now, in hindsight, was that the wrong move? Because, I'm not saying that they were doing too much and focused too much on the LA life, but you go out to LA when it is snowing in Cleveland, and you haven't had a bye week since week 5. You don't get a bye week the rest of the year. And if this team makes the playoffs, they're going to have to play from week 1 of the playoffs to to whenever that run comes to an end. So you're just going to keep playing week after week after week after week. And that is mentally taxing when your body is being physically taxed in a physically demanding sport. So, to make an excuse, I don't like if they kind of shut the engines off, shut the mindset off, and felt more like when they were in LA for a week, they were on vacation more than a business trip. I don't like that, and that's not a culture builder, but I can also understand it as
Walker
long
has
as
come out and said that LA trip actually brought them together a lot. He goes, I hated that we lost, but we did come a lot more together. And I think it's going to help them on the long run. And time's going to tell if that's true or not.
Right. And now if Flacco is the starter this week, whether DTR clears protocol or not, Flacco needs to be the
quarterback. Oh, for sure.
If all parties are healthy in that quarterback room, Flacco needs to be the quarterback. That is the best chance to win. That is not a dig at DTR.
No, he's a rookie. I don't need a rookie 6th round pick or 5th round pick, wherever we got him, starting in a playoff run that he wasn't supposed to be starting in.
You saw,
like, if he was the guy who got us to the playoff run, sure, let's go roll with them. He's our rookie quarterback. We're supposed to, but he's not even supposed to be our starter. He was supposed to be the guy learning behind Watson how to be a backup. He was supposed to learn how to be a backup.
And some even question whether there should have been even someone.
Yeah, we should have had Josh Dobbs. I question it, but yeah.
Should have had him.
Should have, could have, would have. That's the past.
Right. Like, there's a lot of should have, could have, would have.
Yeah, there's a ton of those. I could do that since 99.
Yeah. I mean, that's my whole fandom. Like,
I got a little bit of the 80s, but I was just a little kid. But
and I've been taught about
Peter's the only one that's ever really enjoyed a little bit of true great Browns football.
I've only been raised on that. Like, and I've been taught about it, and I'm
sorry
to those.
Don't you know
it's like a fairy tale.
We're like Bane. Like, oh, we're born in darkness. We hadn't seen a winning season until we were a man.
And again, 1999, I was starting to get to the age where like I understood what sports were. So it was the perfect time for this team to come back for myself, my generation, that we're still being raised. Like, when this team comes back, you're going to be a Browns fan. But what have we seen? And until we see a consistent change, like, in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking, like, how many more shoes are going to drop this year? Like, how many more pieces of adversity, strides of adversity does this team have to go through? There's still 5 games left, guys. But there's still an opportunity for this team to make the playoffs. And again, I'm not going to, whether Trevor Lawrence plays or not, this is a game you have to get. Because if he is out a couple of games, that team is going to be fighting for a playoff spot around the same record as you. You need those tiebreakers. You lost it to Denver, and we saw how DTR reacted to a hostile environment, a playoff-like atmosphere on the road in Denver. Not that it was bad, but it's not right now. Joe Flacco showed that he can still play, still has stuff left in the tank. He didn't just say he has stuff left in the tank. He showed he has stuff left in the tank.
And he's got the mental capacity. He knows so much about the game.
He does. And
he's just processed it, and it looks like the game is slower for him than our other quarterbacks.
It was a professional quarterback effort. That's the best way to describe it. And if he's not the quarterback, I mean, we're going to make sure that everyone supports DTR, but it just feels like that's just not the right move. And I don't like that they haven't announced anything yet, because they want to be smarter than everybody else. They want to have some sort of competitive advantage. Someone that does have a competitive advantage right now, that is the Cavaliers over the Orlando Magic at home. We're going to talk some Cavs and some other stuff with our guest of the evening, Danny Cunningham, on the other side. This is the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout Northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Welcome back to the Voiceland right here on the Big Play Network. Kevin Arnold, always positive J. Peter Tellep. And right now we are joined by our guest of the evening. He is the associate editor at Cleveland Magazine. That is Danny Cunningham, a former teammate of mine and someone that knows a lot about the NBA. Danny, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, taking some time to talk Cavs and some other stuff.
My pleasure, guys. What's up? How you guys doing?
Good, man. I haven't seen you in a while, and the beard, man.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I haven't heard you in a while, unfortunately. Either.
I look a little different, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a, you can't find my voice every day. That's for sure. Which is good for some.
I unfortunately don't have
upset.
my after work entertainment to get me through all my after work chores anymore. We won't talk about that.
Well, at least you're no dumber when it comes to movies now.
That is true. I'm not gonna lie. You used to drive me nuts because I am the movie guru of all my friends and watch all the movies, kind of like Fontana. And I'm just like, how does he not know these movies?
So that would kind of be my favorite thing, when I was on the show with Matt, was that part of Time Hop. And then I would go to, like my aunt's or somebody's for Thanksgiving or like a big family gathering. And, not everyone there would listen to the show, but I certainly had some family members that listened daily on their drive home from work. And I would get like, how have you never seen this movie? Like I would just walk in the door and that would be
shamed.
How have you not seen, fill in the blank movie? That would be the most common thing. Really, in the years of doing the show, that was the most common thing I heard from people was, how do you not know these movies?
I'm sure your fiance hammered you all the time too.
She would just send me texts laughing during the show. She would listen live almost every day. And then it would, we would get to that part of the show at 6 o'clock or, whatever time we actually got to it. And she would just be like, you're kidding me. And then once we started going back on movies, because, we had been doing it for more than a year, she's like, how do you not even just remember this from last year? There was one movie, was that movie Ben Affleck won an Oscar for?
Was it like Argo?
Yeah, Argo.
Okay.
So Matt brought it up and I go, I don't believe this is even a real movie. Like I've never heard of this movie. He goes, I think it won an Academy Award. I go, no way. And then we had the exact same conversation a year later. Just like I didn't remember it because why would I?
The funny thing is, I watch a lot of movies. I've never even heard of this movie.
Oh yeah,
no idea what you're talking about.
Thank you.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. It's a true story. It's based on a true story, right?
I think so.
I
haven't seen it either.
Yeah, it's okay. So no one's seen it.
We kind of found the movie that no one's seen. See, Danny, what I was always really good at was I didn't actually see a lot of movies like you hadn't. I was just really good that I had heard and seen trailers of a lot of movies. So it got better when Matt started describing, instead of having clips play of these movies, when he would just describe and find the worst way to describe these movies, I started understanding a little bit more because I had seen a trailer or just heard about the movie, but I was like, yeah, that's not I'm not going to watch that anyway. So I don't really care.
Man, I don't even watch trailers. Like right now, all we do is not all we do, but we, for the most part, just rewatch TV shows. Like we have rewatched Community.
I still have to start that
4 times. How have you not started it? It's so good. It is genuinely
good.
One of my favorite TV shows. It's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely got to watch that. I did see Top Gun though, so I mean, I'm all right?
Hey, me too.
I heard a couple times.
I actually saw it again in theaters last month. They had this Screen X Fest out at the Regal in North Ridgeville. A friend and I went on Saturday night at 10 o'clock just to go see Top Gun in theaters one more time.
Dang it, I wish I would have known. Man, having a kid is I'm so cut off from everything.
I knew that was going to be brought up, and I actually we were at a Walmart in Indiana. We went to a game in Notre Dame, and we had to stop at Walmart afterwards before we drove back. And we were walking around Walmart, and they had a bunch of different coffee mugs, and they had a Top Gun Maverick coffee mug, and of course,
You
I
bought
bought it. I was going to have it ready because I knew Top Gun would come up in this conversation,
Yes.
but I used it yesterday and it's in the dishwasher that's running right now. So I
Sorry.
apologize for not having a prop tonight, but I
That's-
was thinking about it.
That's hilarious.
I mean, the props we have aren't great either. I mean, the helmet that you don't really like, and I'm not too fond of right now. And then, the other helmet.
Yeah, you
just
want to
gotta
fire
have-
Ryan Day?
do I want to fire Ryan Day?
Yeah, I want to fire Ryan Day.
Either of you guys?
Yeah, I
Wow.
do.
Sure.
I was actually going to start this conversation with a question you wouldn't expect me to ask you because you know how big of an Ohio State fan I am, Danny. But I know you guys took the trip and went to Notre Dame, saw a game at Notre Dame. My grandpa has been a Notre Dame fan his entire life. I mean, he's one of those Catholics that's always a Notre Dame fan, always gave me a hard time because I was the Ohio State fan. I didn't jump on to the Notre Dame train exactly the way he did, but I always watched the games with them. I always was fond of that school unless they played Ohio State. What was that trip like to be at South Bend?
Oh, I mean, I love it there. We went twice this year. We went last year to the game against Clemson, which was a really, really cool experience as well. I've been there probably close to 15 times.
Hi, Brett.
Photo bomb.
Hi, Brett. How are you?
I've probably been there like 15 times throughout my life. Not all of them for football games, but I've been to a bunch of football games there. And it's just an awesome experience. Like, even if you're not a fan of Notre Dame, there's so much, if you are a fan of college football, there's so much college football history that has taken place on that campus. Like, walking around the stadium and seeing the statues of, Newt Rockne and Lou Holtz and guys like that who have just meant so much, not just to that university, but to college football in general. And the other cool thing about it there is it's relatively small, right? Like, if you go to Ohio State, I don't know what enrollment there is right now, but I'm sure it's north of 60,000 kids, right? It's a gigantic school and a gigantic campus. Notre Dame is like a 10,000 undergrad school. Like, it is tiny compared to the Ohio States and Michigans and Georgias of the world. So the campus is much smaller, and it's just a much more intimate college football experience than I think a lot of those big schools are.
Yeah, it's one of those places that, my grandpa's he's still doing well at 97, but he's been, just kind of sat in a chair, watches news all day, kind of like not able to even get out of the house. One of those places I always wanted to, if I had the money and got old enough, like, take him. But once I kind of had that opportunity, he wasn't able to really travel. Like, it was there, and it was where I got married at League Park, like two places of history that he taught me about, and then to take him back to those, like, I always wanted to. So I definitely want to take a trip myself and kind of feel that essence, just because he mattered so much in my sports life.
See, with me,
I mean, you don't
go ahead.
You don't have to be a fan of Notre Dame to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I know plenty of people that are not fans of Notre Dame that are fans of, I have a friend that's a huge Florida State fan. And he went to a Notre Dame game with me. This was years ago, but he loved the experience because he's a big college football fan. You just kind of can't replicate some of the things that are there. And, there are a lot of campuses that have that, but it's just a little bit more special, I think, at Notre Dame than a lot of other places because of the intimacy with the campus.
So growing up, I thought I was told I was Irish and very Irish and German. So I always kind of like, I'll root for Notre Dame. I'm Irish. I have to, it's kind of part of my thing. Did a DNA test. I have 2% Irish. So I don't root for Notre Dame anymore. I was like, we'll see you later, guys. I'm not a part of your group anymore. So I gotta go.
I mean, test results of
that,
your DNA.
That, and I'm still not
shouldn't
over
determine-
Brady Quinn. I'm not gonna lie.
That shouldn't determine who you're rooting for, Jay. If you already started.
Oh, it wasn't who I rooted for. I just kind of pulled for him. And then I just kind of stopped. I was like, no, I'm not Irish. What do I care about them anymore?
All right. Well, we did.
I mean, in that DNA test, how much of that was Buckeye?
All of it.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, that's not how that works. No, especially when you don't go to the school and you're just a fan of them. Yeah,
I forgot I'm talking to Danny, who's dealt with Matt for so many times. It's very witty with comebacks. I'm gonna step away now.
Oh, trust me, I started to get that too.
I miss it, man. I miss it.
Yeah, I definitely
Me
do.
too.
But we had you on to talk Cavs. Maybe we should.
Yeah,
Actually
you're wearing
get to
all
the
this
point.
Cavs stuff.
I know. I'm like, I'll address Cavs. I'll have the Cav guy on, and yeah, we'll talk about every other thing like we always do. We are never on course here.
No,
ever.
I mean,
What's that like? I've never experienced anything
No.
like
Yeah,
that.
I don't know what it's like.
he doesn't know what being on clock and on course is. Like, this is the perfect
What's
person.
the
to have.
clock?
What is
Clocks.
that? There was actually a meeting today, Danny, where someone suggested for 2024 that we forego clocks. Like, it's like the first
I
time
was
of the,
not in that meeting somehow.
yes, I don't know, but it is what it is. But Cavs wise, I do have to ask you about JB. I mean, after that Portland game, there was a lot, it seemed like there was a lot going on inside that locker room that even a guy like Brian Windhorst doesn't know exactly what happened, but it was definitely a tense atmosphere. When do we officially make it a hot seat, and when does a hot seat become an ejector seat?
I mean, I think it's a hot seat now. If you look at the stretch, and I know they're leading at halftime right now against Orlando as we talk. But this stretch, they've got Orlando twice, Miami, Boston twice, a Houston team that's, not bad. Like, the Rockets are probably a little bit better than most expected, certainly than I expected them to be. Getting through this stretch, I think, is really important. This is where I think things could go sideways. It's why, like, losing a game against Portland, especially after how, if you watch them, it looked like they turned a corner. They still weren't playing up to their potential, but they looked like they started to figure things out. And I think you can still blame some of the early season struggles on the difficulties that they had with the injury bug at the start of the season. So they are a little bit behind the eight ball because of that. You can't control that. Like, you can't blame anybody for that. It's not JB's fault that he hasn't had a full roster available the entire season. But when you drop a game like that Portland one, and then even that Detroit game, I know they came back and won, but things were looking not good for a large portion of that game. I think how they look at the end of this stretch, I believe this stretch ends December 16th, this stretch of 6 games. If they go 4-2, 5-1, maybe even 3-3, if it's the right combination of 3-3, I think that you can kind of take a deep breath and go into the new year and just, okay, let's see what we got. But if they're below 500 in this stretch, I think things are going to be real tense. And again, I'm not in the locker room nearly as often as I used to be. I've only covered one Cavs game this year, so I'm not as tied in right now as I have been in the past. But just from watching from afar, you can kind of tell that something isn't all the way right about this Cavs team.
Seeing how I can't watch from afar because I have Hulu, I don't get to watch any games. I haven't watched a single one. I don't get on this show and fake like I watch them because I don't get to, unfortunately. So I get to ask questions off of your answers. Let's say they go and they fire JB Bickerstaff and whoever they hire. Do you think that really is going to make that? Could it make that big of a difference in the season? Do you think it's something that could turn around the season, or is it really more or less on the players and it's just going to be the same stuff with someone else they're going to blame?
So this wouldn't be like a 2015-16 Cavs situation where they had the replacement on the bench, right? And David Blatt, David Blatt.
Yeah. In other words, David Blatt was not an NBA coach. It was a weird situation with him. That's why I agree with you.
Yeah. And JB is an NBA caliber coach. I believe him to be a good basketball coach. Whether or not he's the right fit, whether or not his voice is kind of worn thin, I don't know those answers, but I know that at his core, he is a good NBA coach. I don't know if he's right. I don't know if he's wrong for this group, but I know he's a good NBA coach. But I do think that sometimes you might just need a new voice, right? Like, there have been teams that it doesn't mean that the coach is bad. It doesn't mean that, good times weren't had, but sometimes you need a new voice. Like, look at the Guardians. This year, things didn't go well. They probably needed a new voice. 11 seasons for Terry Francona in one place is a really long time to be there.
I actually
Terry
agree
Francona
with you 100%
is not a Hall of
on
Fame
that.
manager. Does that mean that he thinks all of a sudden he forgot how to handle a clubhouse? No.
He's even talked about that before, if I'm correct.
It's just, it happens, man. And sometimes it's the best thing for everybody. I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Here's what I want to ask you when you say that. You want the new voice, but the voice, if it's most likely coming from the inside of the team, a guy that's already there, isn't that voice already there? Shouldn't he already be making that kind of difference? Like, I'm not in the locker room. I've never actually been able to go in one. That's what I'm asking you. You've seen these things, because is it really that much of a difference in season as much as when you make a coaching change off season and you bring in a guy and he brings in his guys and you get all new voices? You know what I mean?
It can be a spark, certainly. Now, it's not going to change the entire fabric of the team, but sometimes it can be a kick in the ass for the team, because at the end of the day, you can fire a coach. You can't fire 15 guys on a roster. That's just not how pro sports work. Like, coaches in the NFL that get fired, most of them aren't bad coaches, but what's it easier to do? Fire a head coach or fire 53 guys on a roster?
Right.
It's just, that's how it works. It can be a spark. It's not something that is a permanent solution. It's not something that's always the best solution, but sometimes there aren't other options. There aren't other ways to go out and light a fire under a team. And it sucks that somebody has to lose their job when that happens, but it's kind of what you sign up for in professional sports.
It's what the business of sports is all about. And I mean, if JB gets fired in the middle of the season, while it might provide a spark, I mean, the 2015, 2016 Cavs, that will be the exception to that rule, because they already had 30 wins at the time that they fired him. Ty Lue was ready and in waiting on the bench to move in, and a guy that a lot of those guys on that team would listen to. I don't know that, like, that guy's not on.
Oh, and they had LeBron.
They had LeBron. So, like,
he's all right.
That mattered a little bit.
Yeah, that mattered a little bit, having good old 23 there.
I truly, I think the whole season was about putting the $100 in the ceiling, but that's just me. That meant a lot to those guys.
I don't want to see a world where we have to fire JB in the middle of the season, because you really know, not even being in the locker room, like, you can tell something's not right, but stuff really isn't right if they have to move and put an interim coach in there until they can get to the offseason and bring a new voice in here. Danny, the other piece of the Cavs.
Hang on, let me add to that, because there's something that I think is materially different about this year than last year for them. Last year they added Donovan in September, and everything was new, everything was fresh, everything was awesome. And there was no pressure in that regular season, like none whatsoever, because they added everything together so late. Like, if they would have won 45 games last year and been the 6th seed, no one would have said, you know what, this was a failure, what a bad move, because it would have been, okay, like, it took some time to get to where you want to go. There was no pressure, because you knew no matter what, Donovan Mitchell is going to be on the roster next season. You knew that last season. Now, there's pressure there. There's pressure to win. There's pressure to succeed in the playoffs. Last year, I'm not going to try and, put lipstick on a pig and say that losing in 5 games to the Knicks was a good thing, but it's not the most catastrophic failure in the world. If that happens again, people are going to lose their jobs. Like, there is a significant amount of pressure on this team that just simply did not exist last year. And I do think that could be part of the reason why we see them just in a different light this year than we did last year.
Yeah. And I mean, like you say, Donovan Mitchell, I mean, the pressure's there as we're getting now into that contract that we had acquired when we traded for him. The pressure was there. And we all knew that regular season may not have felt as fun this year, because everyone's just going to keep talking about, well, it's not going to matter what they do right now, because, they have to make the playoffs, and then they have to go further in the playoffs. They have to do more with those opportunities. Now, speaking of Donovan Mitchell in that backcourt, the other person I wanted to ask you about, who has been struggling to start the year, Darius Garland, a lot of turnovers. I know he's dealt with injury this year. I mean, just what do you see in that? Is it really a regression, or just maybe, early season he's working through something? And do him and Mitchell really coexist in that backcourt?
I mean, I think that their games mesh well enough to coexist. I know there was a ton of debate with the Colin Sexton, Darius Garland fit. And then, how is it different with Donovan Mitchell? It's different because Donovan Mitchell is a superstar and Colin Sexton's not. And also, like, Darius Garland is a very malleable player. He can be a score first guy. Like, he's good enough to do that. He can be a pass first guy. I think that's kind of how Garland prefers to play. I actually think, and this is going to sound a little bit weird, I think some of Garland's turnovers are because he's not being aggressive enough, where there are times he's not taking shots that he is good enough to be taking, and instead it's leading to him trying to do something else that maybe he shouldn't be doing because he passed up a good look, and that's creating a turnover.
Kind of
But I think that
overthinking
the
it.
turnovers there, yeah, sort of, yeah. I think that the turnovers are the biggest issue that he has been having this year. I really do.
He might be just trying to change his game too, like to be a more aggressive pass first guy, and he's in an adjustment. We're like, who knows? Like you said, like he might just be overthinking it, or
It seems like his body's moving faster than he is, like
His
he is with the
thoughts.
ball. Like, and his mind is moving faster. He's moving faster than, game isn't slowing down for him. It's like speeding up, which is weird for a guy that's been in the league, but definitely something that I know that he is working on, and these coaches are working on. Danny, we really appreciate the time, and we always respect everybody's time and being with family. I know you're home with your fiance right now, so we don't want to take too much more time, but at Cleveland Magazine, been reading some of your articles, really loving what you've been doing. I know that the Raleigh Inn coming back to Tremont, so you've been kind of going through some restaurants, but you also got a chance to see LeBron's that the Hall of Fame that they like the museum that they opened. What can you tell us about that museum? Anybody that hasn't had a chance to even look it up yet?
It is incredible. You kind of go into some of these places not knowing what to necessarily expect. Like, the first time I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I didn't know what to expect. And granted, I was a little younger. I was in like 8th grade or maybe 9th grade. I didn't know what to expect, but I was like, wow, this is some really cool stuff. When I went to LeBron James's home court at House 330 in Akron a couple weeks ago, I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, there's probably going to be some really cool stuff. I don't know how cool it's going to be. I don't know what we're going to see here. I was blown away, guys. Like, it is incredible, all of the stuff that they have there. They've got, his childhood apartment recreated with the exact TV. Like, it is the TV he watched growing up. There are posters on his bedroom wall in this replica apartment that are the actual, like, it is the literal poster that hung on LeBron's wall when he was a child. And I went to the Cavs Lakers game last Saturday to talk to LeBron about this. And he said, he used to get on his mom, Gloria, about saving everything, kind of almost being a hoarder when he was younger. But now we are all benefiting from her saving so much, because there is just an incredible amount of stuff that LeBron had in his life. And one of the things that I think really struck me about this, and there have been a ton of great athletes, and we don't have time to debate LeBron's place amongst them in the history of sports. But what I think LeBron is the first of is he's the first legendary athlete that has hung on to everything. Because I'm sure you guys see from time to time on Twitter, a pair of shoes that Michael Jordan wore in the finals go up for
did you watch
auction,
Bye Bye
or-
Barry?
I have not seen
Watch
it.
it. I'll just give you one little spoiler. The shoes that he breaks 2000 in, he takes them off and just forgets about them. He's like, I gave them to someone. And then it pans to Herman Moore. He's like, I got those shoes. He's
Yeah.
like, can I have
Or
those?
like, a Tom Brady jersey from the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, those things find their way to auction. You don't see that with LeBron's stuff, and it's all in this museum. It's really, really remarkable. Like,
He was
I
smart
don't know
about
if you
stuff
guys-
like that. Like, he wouldn't autograph a lot of stuff either. Like, he wasn't pulling the Pete Rose and just autographing anything and everything and making that worth nothing.
Yeah, when
Like,
he
so
does
if you have something autographed with Bronze, that's probably worth a ton.
when he does it, it's a special moment.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if you guys remember when he had a facial injury in Miami, and he wore like that black mask. They've got that mask in there. Like, they have one of his Blackberries from when he was on the Cavs.
That's
in
hilarious.
The first go around. He had an Xbox 360 in his locker the first time in Cleveland, back when Xbox 360s were a thing. And they've got like a locker recreation from all of his eras, like his first time in Cleveland, his time at Akron St. Vincent de Mary's, his time in Miami, his second time in Cleveland, his Team USA time, his time with the Lakers. In his first Cleveland era locker, they've got an Xbox 360 in there. They've got CDs that LeBron used to listen to. It is remarkable, the stuff they have.
What we need to do one of these days is get like me, you, Kevin, we'll get Matt, a couple other people we're cool with, get a little round table, record it, go to lunch somewhere, and just talk LeBron memories for an hour or so, and just relive what we got to witness.
Just round table talking as it is. I mean,
yeah,
look,
because I could do this for hours.
yes. I mean, look, we've kept Danny like 10 minutes
Yeah,
over,
I'm like,
and
I feel
apologize
bad.
to Brittany for us for keeping you a little bit longer. But like, I mean, this is what we used to do all the time, Danny, and like we could. I hope we get a chance to do this more and more often. Like we need to catch up a little bit too.
Yes, anytime you want a mic, dude, and you just got to talk,
Yeah,
you have an open invite to here
Just-
whenever you want, dude.
yeah, I can kick Jay out of here. Like
See,
that.
I'll
Like, it's
leave.
not-
He doesn't even have to kick me out. I'll just leave.
It's not that. But Danny, we really appreciate it. We appreciate you coming on. Hopefully, we'll definitely have you back on again. Talk Cavs as we go forward. I'm sure that we've only seen just the beginning of the chapter of Cavaliers basketball that this season is going to provide for us, and we'll talk some other memories. But definitely get to get out to that museum for LeBron, because I mean, as a LeBron fan, I was going to go anyways, but there's not many people that I trust their basketball opinion more than Danny, because I know Danny knows his stuff, and I feel like I know my basketball stuff. And then I talk to Danny, and there's stuff I still got to learn. So Danny, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight and having some fun with us.
Anytime, guys. Appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. That is Danny Cunningham, associate editor at Cleveland Magazine. Make sure you're reading his stuff. Follow Cleveland Magazine, CLE Magazine on social media, and I'm sure that they'll post some of his articles, some great articles on there. We got to catch a break. On the other side, we'll react to some of those things Cavs-wise, and, I mean, Guardians are making news right now.
Sure.
Not for the way that we want right now. We'll talk about that next, right here on the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land of the Big Play Network. Great conversation there with Danny
Fantastic.
Cunningham of Cleveland Magazine, former teammate of mine. And
Just all around good dude.
Just all around good dude. And like I said, we respect anybody that comes on our show and any guests. They tell us how much time they have.
Funny, we respect what time they tell us, and then we go like 10,
I know.
15 minutes longer.
But if there's anybody that understands it,
it's him. And when you're having
It's
fun,
him.
you can tell
It's
he's having
Fontana.
fun. He's having fun.
We can do that
It
with
goes
Fontana
stuff.
too. So I know that Fontana's said that he would come on. He's of course on the Big Play Network as well. Daily show 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At the Matt Fontana show. It's you can't miss it. It's got
It's
some
everywhere,
sort of
man.
It's everywhere. Plus it's got a
It's on
Batman logo.
iHeartRadio.
I think our friend Cody did the
Yeah, of course he did. He's
Cody draws. So make sure to watch that daily show through the Big Play Network. A lot of good stuff going on at Big Play. And I mean, he kind of said it, he's not in the locker room as much anymore, but I think everybody can, even if you're not watching the games, like not able to watch the game.
Yeah, I know. And I don't watch a single one. So
there's something going, like the message just isn't getting home. What have I clamored for on this show? The Cavs to get back to gritty, tough, win the 50-50 balls. Like we talked about that. And, we've had conversations about the Cavs teams in the past when they weren't as good after LeBron left. They were going to outwork you, but in the NBA, talent wins out. And they didn't win a lot of games because in those fourth quarters, it wasn't the conditioning. It was just the talent. Like you can defend as best you can, but if guys are going to hit shots with the hand in their face and they're going to start knocking down threes and go on a run, and you got Durant, you got LeBron, you got guys like that scoring 30 on you, and they got plenty of cast members around them scoring 20, 25. You're still not going to win. But as this team built and got more talent, I didn't want the grittiness to go away. Slowly but surely, that defensive, gritty mindset has slipped away from this team, and they act like they can just flip a switch like they are big time in the NBA when they haven't done anything yet as a unit. Something isn't right. And when you got issues like you'd had after the Portland game where JB didn't come out right away, then he spoke for 2 minutes, report that Jared Allen had left the locker room without even attempting to speak to anybody. I mean, we've seen it with the Browns. We've seen it with Cavs teams in the past. We've seen it with, we've just seen it as Cleveland sports fans. It's never good.
No, never is.
And right now, Cavs up 78-70. So Orlando making a run.
78-70. So, yeah.
Yeah, they're making a run.
Just letting
655.
things slip away, more or less.
Yes.
That's not cool.
I mean,
And Orlando's playing great.
Orlando
this year.
is playing great. And hey, Cavs came out shooting 7 of 10, made 7
And I
of
don't
their
want to
first
say
10
it to let it
3-point.
slip away because I don't care. I've watched so many NBA games. Dude, teams always can jump out the leads, and then they almost always dwindle back and comes within a 10-point game.
What's the great equalizer right now? It's where the basketball game has gone, the 3-point shot.
Yeah.
Like, if you can shoot the 3, you can go down 20 and it doesn't
It's
feel
still
like
weird to me, man. I was trained my whole life, get closer to the basket. Always work your team to get closer to the basket and get the higher percentage shots. And now they take them further back. It went completely backwards for me.
Real quick before we do talk
Okay.
Guardians. Jana, I don't know if you're watching. I'm talking to my wife right now.
Yeah.
This it's gonna seem weird. I don't really care. It's our show. I can do what I want. She's asking about if I know if she has any extra chargers anywhere for her phone because Raj has chewed through both of the ones that she knew where they were. No, I don't know if you have any extras. I just know that the pumps have the same charger. That's the only thing I can suggest, but you probably already thought about that because you're smarter than me. So I'm sorry. If you can text me if you got
Car
this message
charger cord.
Oh, maybe, but I think it's only she has like that. We have the actual car chargers that go into the. We used to be like the cigarette lighter, like that, that port in there. We don't.
Yeah.
I mean, we do. I guess we do have the USB. Like it has a USB end to it, but
Yes.
I'll
Find a charger.
I'll try
on it.
I mean, Raj has been eating through I think
Rabbit, dude. They got teeth.
He
chew.
might be feeling neglected lately. I don't know.
Peter, did you get to watch any Cavs games this year?
Jacob and I watched the one that was on TBS.
Oh yeah. Every time they're on national television, I don't find out till halftime. I'm like, oh crap. So I did get to watch a couple. And Jacob said he was going to take you to a game, right?
Yeah,
Or
I think
the
that's
Father's Day gift.
That's what he promised.
Yeah.
Maybe Christmas gift.
That's cool.
And then my sister had texted me, thanking for the birthday shout out, and she will admit that she is not the smart twin. so she's.
I always assume the female is smarter. Hey, there's exceptions to everything. That's your guys' business. I'm just trying to be the nice guy.
And that's not me like saying anything like female. That's a brother, giving his sister.
Yeah, you could say that. I can't say that.
I can say that. Yeah.
I can't say that.
Yeah.
So
I have the car charger, but I don't want to go outside trying pumps, but they are slow. Okay. I'm trying. I'm still trying to help while I'm on the show.
You're giving solutions.
Hi, Lincoln, if you're watching.
Bringing
Hi.
more problems.
We're off the rails.
Yeah.
Guardians, though.
Guardians, yeah.
I mean,
they got big news tomorrow, 10 a.m.
I have a feeling that has some like.
I'm
This isn't me. This isn't my thought. I think I saw someone suggest this, and it makes sense with
the radar.
The radar
satellite. Yes.
Something.
Please, new deal. Not named the other one.
Yeah.
I can't really make fun of anymore. Let's put it that way.
10 a.m. tomorrow, they have a major announcement. No, it's not Shohei Ohtani coming here. That's not going to happen, especially when there's reports.
It's Mike Trout.
No, he's not leaving the Angels.
Oh.
Yeah. The Angels and Mike Trout have already said.
You know what hurt today, though? Because I heard which I was kind of excited. We got the number 1 pick, and then I find out, there's no like generational talent in there. Jana, leave us alone. I love you, but
she wants me to ask Amy about Hibachi.
Hibachi, nothing. We got a show going on here.
And apparently, Lincoln's tired. Well, of course he's tired. It's 9:00.
I'm going to take
Completely
that
off the
watch from
rails.
you here in a second. I'll just grab that watch off you in a
Hey,
second here.
we had a great start. The first 40 minutes.
As I was saying, I lost what I was saying. Damn it. Damn you, Jana.
No generational talent.
No, it's mine.
Yeah, there's no generational talent, like no superstar, for sure, number one pick, and we get our first ever. Hopefully, we just get. You know what I want? I just want us to draft someone and then just trade them with someone else and get me an established player that could play this year. For the love of God, I don't care about your damn draft pick.
I just need power. I need power in this lineup. Like, are we bringing in Stephen Vogt? Is that the sign? Like, by
Can he hit?
Terry Francona? Stephen Vogt can't hit. No,
Oh,
he's perfect for this team because he was a catcher that hit like 160.
perfect. Yeah, I can't have no one
And I got
batting
no-
under 200, and I need someone that can hit 40 bombs.
And I don't have an issue yet with Stephen Vogt, but it just feels like this team is again giving us mixed messages. They are going to tell us that they want to compete and they got the pitching to compete and they're going to add to this. And it feels like we're going back to a rebuild mode. I don't know why. It's just this weird.
We should never be in a rebuild mode when we have the contract we have for Jose. He cuts you a deal so you go get players,
Right.
and you should be doing that. You're supposed to be.
We have Jose.
I'm so aggravated with that team. Like Danny was saying
Oh
when
my
we weren't talking between breaks. They just irritate me so damn bad.
If you can't develop power through your minor league system, go out and get it.
Oh, and if you can't
Take
develop
your
your
billions
own
of
power,
dollars, Dolan, and
you're
actually
not going
do
to get a
something.
batter that was struggling before, and then all of a sudden make him great again because you can't even just make your own players good at hitting, except for Jose, who's a
I didn't want.
godsend.
I didn't plan on getting aggravated tonight.
How you feeling over there, Peter?
I'm just laughing at you too.
Yeah, I can see we're getting
You guys are
Kinda
getting
mad.
so worked up.
damn Guardians. You just like things. All the shows behind the shows are all the good stuff that should be on camera. But like Danny was saying, how bad would you just want to see a World Series? Like everyone in this town glamours over Super Bowl. Truthfully, I really probably would prefer the World Series. And that is a hot take.
I got my number one championship.
See, that wasn't my number one. That would have been
Right.
my third. But I love them all. And that one was just worth so much more because how we did it in 2016. But I grew up original baseball fan. That is my OG sport. That's what I watched growing up. That's what like how you are with your grandfather. I am with my dad. That is what made me the sports fan, baseball. I grew up in the 90s, dude. I'm sorry you didn't get to see this, but like those teams were fantastic to watch.
I mean, I got to see it
A
but
little bit.
Did I actually
Like I said, you were like how I
recognize
was
it?
in the 80s and
Right.
the Browns.
I didn't
You were
recognize
watching it. You didn't get to appreciate it though.
Right. I didn't have that
Dude,
recognition.
How fun
understanding.
was that, Peter?
Oh, it's amazing.
Every day. You can never count those dudes out because they could score 20 runs any given night.
Yep.
And do it in fashion and dude, doubles, singles, triples, home runs, all of it, dude. And it was from 1 to 9, you had a great batter, not some dude batting 165 and 500 strikeouts. Come on.
I mean, small ball only works if
Yeah,
you
now
can
you got my blood pressure
if you can
up.
keep the train rolling. Again,
We need to talk some fun in this last segment.
we're going to. Don't worry. Listen, if you can't develop power, go get it. I know that.
And not to go fix it, get it. Get the working, get it.
Yes. And be willing to pay for it. Don't just, in the past, you've just gone for that first name. No, actually analyze what these guys can bring.
The guy I wanted is gone now, too, by the way.
Who?
I wanted Soto so bad.
Oh, yeah. No, you're never going to outbid
And
the Yankees. That was over.
The evil empire was just like dun 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 dun. Swoops up another great player to add to the enough they have. I hope they suck again because that just makes me so happy.
Yeah,
When they buy all those players and they just suck. And they didn't fire anybody. What a bunch of idiots. God, they might suck again.
my last point.
All right. Can't get me talking baseball
I
and
know,
expect me
I
to
know.
be calm.
I understand. Trust me, neither one of us were calm because there was a stretch.
When I talk baseball, I go backwards from the mic.
There was a stretch of 2 minutes there where we were both doing our own show at the same time.
Yeah, it was fun.
And I'm sorry for everyone's ears that we may have blown out while you were listening and watching that. I will say this. I know that there's a lot of people that feel the way we do, that this team needs to add power to the lineup. But as a educational piece for those that are saying that, just remember, power doesn't only mean home runs. Yeah, home runs are great. But I'm talking about the doubles that hit off the wall and it only runs into the wall because it couldn't go any further. Not the ones that trickle and miraculously find a gap and go to the wall that way. Or we have so much speed that guys can turn a single into a double. No, I want the ball that clangs off the wall, that you hear go off the wall, that you hear off the bat and goes over the wall. That's the kind of power we're looking for. It is your job, Chris Antonetti and front office, to figure out who those pieces are and bring them here. And tell Dolan, we need this. Look what Jose Ramirez did for us. We need to take advantage of this right now. Let's use our young talent that can play small ball and add some power around them. And I think guys will play a lot better. Fun on the other side. This is the Voice of the Land in the Big Play Network.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that is partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout Northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land, the Big Play Network. I'm Kevin Arnold. He's always positive Jay. Peter Tulip on the other side. Only a couple minutes left in the show, guys. We would be remiss if we didn't mention and shout out the Columbus Crew who are in the MLS Cup Final, hosting down in Columbus, 4 p.m. on Saturday. Cucho Hernandez, and I mean, I don't know how this team came back 2-0 against Cincinnati again because it's something I can't watch because
I can tell you how they came back.
They scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
And the other team didn't.
Yeah. They went on a 3-0 run, and plus they're Cincinnati.
All right,
little brother.
Right, but they're putting.
Sorry,
they keep putting these games on Apple Plus, but it's not just Apple Plus. Then you have to pay extra for the season.
You gotta
pass.
get Apple Plus Plus.
Yes.
What about ESPN Plus Plus Plus?
ESPN
plus.
Remember that commercial?
Hulu,
ESPN
yes.
Plus
Hulu
Plus. It's Hulu, right? Was
Oh,
it
Hulu Plus
Hulu plus.
Yeah, but ESPN's on Hulu, and
Yeah,
they're
they're all connected.
They're all on that bundle, but the Crew are going for another MLS Cup. It would be if they are able to win against LAFC, it'd be their 3rd championship in Major League Soccer. One of the original teams in the league. Crew has been down in Columbus since the league came into fruition in 1996. And yeah, like anybody that's going to that game, boy, that is going to be an electric atmosphere. I've watched Crew games this year when they score goals, the way that
I
the
could have got you
lights.
tickets, by the way. Just wanted to torture you.
Okay, I understand, but
I checked. He's like, yeah, if you want to. I'm like, no, I was just seeing if I could. He's like, well, if you want to, let me know.
Don't stop doing this to me.
There you go, Jana. Where's your cord now?
Stop doing this to me. But you wanted some other. So yes, Crew, and I know that the Reflog show, the Big Play Cleveland show is talked about. They want to take a trip there, guys. I'm telling you right now, Dave, Padone, McNeil, Gab, if you guys go and it does like this, you do this Big Play thing next year with the Columbus Crew. You know who better be there? This guy. I mean,
he is Cleveland's like best soccer analyst we have.
At least some people recognize.
And I'm not being biased. You probably are.
At least some people recognize that. 92-78 Cavs over Orlando. And
I wouldn't say you're the biggest fan because you passed up tickets to go to the game, but you're the best analyst.
I guess
Does that hurt?
Stop it. I'm not paying attention to you right now.
Uh-huh.
Our friends at Illegal Ham to the Face, they also have a huge announcement coming.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, next week.
What
So,
is it?
I don't know.
We
It
don't-
says
we don't know.
next
We
week's
have to
show,
wait.
we have a huge announcement. You got to wait till next week. You only have to wait till 10 a.m. tomorrow.
We're
find out
supposed
the
to
Guardian.
get inside stuff on him.
I'm sure you can text him and ask him.
I am.
Cavs extend the lead 94-78, 150 to go in the third quarter. I have to tell this story before we go. I know we're a little
Well,
bit
then
over.
tell it.
So
You have to.
this is the reason why Janet.
By the way, I'm going to judge you and see if you actually had to tell this.
Oh, I have to.
Well, we'll see.
I'm going to read this text.
You sure about that?
This is why Jana wanted me to ask my sister about hibachi. She went, so it's her birthday. Happy birthday again to my sister Amy. I'm not going to say her age because I am respectful of that. I don't think she really cares, but she's almost 40.
Dude,
It's my sister.
No! I am 40.
I'm allowed to have.
You just make it sound like it was bad.
I was giving her a hard time last night, so it's an inside thing. She'll get
Inside nothing.
she'll
I'm
get back at
catching
me somehow.
Me and Peter are catching strays out here.
So she went to a hibachi restaurant for her birthday. So this is what the text reads. They brought her out ice cream with a sparkler in it. They blew out the sparkler and handed it to her. She was dumb and thought she could blow on it and it would make noise and try to do it in front of everyone.
What?
She thought that the sparkler
like-
was a noisemaker. Was like one of those like birthday party whistles that like
Your sister?
Yes.
Had she been drinking before?
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, I'll leave it alone then. I was
And probably partaking in some things that tomorrow all of
she
Ohioans
lives
that
in Seattle.
can be open about tomorrow.
She
They've been
lives in
doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she lives in Seattle. It's legal there.
I know, but doesn't mean I have to say what it is.
Anyways, happy birthday.
I ain't say what it is either.
I can just picture her. It's a sparkler. They blew it out. And you think that it makes noise?
Wait, when she did it, do you think she made the noise? Or did she go, or did she go, woo?
I'm sure it started out as like actual breath, and then she kept going like, woo-hoo!
You know what that tells me? Your sister had a good birthday.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Good for her. Good for her.
Happy birthday, Amy. And thank you again to Danny Cunningham from Cleveland Magazine.
That was a blast.
Just
We definitely
a friend
need
of
to have him
ours
back
as
on.
well. So definitely have him back on the show, but definitely someone we need to catch up with. A lot of good stuff on the Cavs, but just great talking to him, great stories. Plenty of stuff that plenty more stuff.
Read
we
his
can
stuff,
talk
man.
to.
He's such a good writer. He
Yeah.
really is. I'm not a reader, dude. I don't like reading stuff. I'd rather watch video
I'm
all
not
day.
either. If you catch
And
me,
I will read his stuff.
yeah, it's good. Some of it, there's some articles that are a little bit longer, and they're supposed to be. You understand why, but you don't realize that they're long. Some are short, but you feel like you got so much information from it, and that's what makes them so good. And I know he really enjoys the writing aspect. But like we said, Danny, you ever want to open mic? You got one right here on the Voice of the Land. That is going to wrap it up for this edition, though. I gotta get home and eat. Jay's already ate and put that in my face. Been at work all day.
Cry about it.
I'm definitely not going to try to make noise with a sparkler.
Please don't cry about it ever again. That
For-
noise sounds like a dying whale.
All right, we're done. Always positive, Jay. For Jacob Tellett, Peter's son, who's in the background listening to the show tonight. I'm Kevin Hart, reminding all of you sports fans, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all 3,000.
Don't talk about it. Be about it. Also, don't make fake crowd noises.
Live life, all gas, no brakes. We'll talk about that after the show. This has been the Voice of the Land. We'll see you next time right here on the Big Play Network.